It's always a good day when I get to talk about Dior Homme. I'm going to be back with a buying guide today. It's been a while since I've done a buying guide, but these really do seem to help you guys out. And the Dior Homme line is still continuing to grow, and it might be a little bit tough for you to decide where you want to start. So this video is going to help you out. This is about as complete as it's going to get. There's a couple missing. There's Dior Homme Voyage, which is something I had no idea existed until I started doing some more research here. Also Dior Homme 2005 Silver Stem, and also Dior Homme Sport Very Cool Spray. I just didn't really feel like picking it up for this video. Sorry, but everything else we're covered. Even the discontinued sports and all of that stuff for anyone who cares. We'll get to those at the end. We're going to start off with the things that are in production, or at least the things that you can buy right now. We'll get to some of the others later. So we're going to start off with basically the originator of the line. Again, this is not Dior Homme 2005. This is the 2011 version, but it kind of gives you a similar idea. This is what kicked it off. It's going to be all about the beautiful iris accord in here. Iris, cacao, leather, vetiver, amber, lavender, chocolatey, smooth, sweet, but fresher. So if you smelled Dior Homme Intense before, which is arguably probably the most popular of the line, this is going to be just a little bit fresher than that. And the way I've always kind of described it as, this is your daytime, intense, your nighttime, evening out, date, whatever. So this is hard to get. They stopped making it like this, okay? You just can't really buy it in this configuration anymore, but you can get Dior Homme Original, which we'll talk about now. And here it is, Dior Homme Original. So it gets a little bit confusing, but basically they re-released this because they took away that original iris DNA to put out the 2020 version, which we'll talk about in a minute. And so because, I don't know if maybe they listened to feedback or maybe they were planning on doing this anyway, they brought it back, and now you can buy Dior Homme Original, which, believe it or not, is that original DNA. Basically the exact same thing is that Dior Homme 2011. And in terms of difference in smell, hardly any. Maybe if you want to split hairs, maybe could be some slight variations, but at that point, is it just because you have an older bottle compared to a newer bottle? Who really knows? Point is, it's not really a big enough of a gap to matter. And so if you're having trouble finding that old style Dior Homme, but you still want it, you like that configuration, you can buy Dior Homme Original, which can sometimes be a little bit hard to get here in the US, but it does pop up, and I posted about it on my community tab multiple times. So make sure you're subscribed and you're staying tuned for that. I post deals over there every single day. And by the way, I will link all of these down below as well, at least all of the in production ones, so you can pick them up if you're interested. I'll link them to discounters so you can save yourself some money. So basically, Dior Homme Original, refer back to what I just said about Dior Homme if you want a little bit more info on this. And the most recent version of Dior Homme, and it's 2020. So again, this is kind of what replaced the iris one. Now this is completely different. No iris at all. It's got vetiver, isoe super, cashmere, and some other woods, a little bit of bergamot, but it is a woody, masculine men's fragrance to the T. That's all this is. This is the quintessential modern man's scent. Like if you were to look at a dude on the front of a GQ magazine and you were to scent him, this is probably what he would be wearing, or what they would tell him to wear, because it is just a modern, masculine, just versatile, easy to wear type of DNA that realistically, in terms of pleasing people, you cannot go wrong with it. Now, fragrance enthusiasts don't get as crazy about this one as they do some of the others, but in the real world and real life scenarios where people are wearing colognes to smell good and get compliments, this is one of the best out there. Alrighty, let's get into the good stuff with Dior Homme Intense. So now the color of the caps are going to change for a little bit. Went from clear caps and lighter colored liquid to black caps and a little bit of a dark liquid going on with Dior Homme Intense. Again, when people think Dior Homme in this day and age, they pretty much still think Intense. This is kind of the heavy hitter, the one that you can still get everywhere easily, and the one that still just gets the most amount of talk overall. This one has iris, cacao, lavender. So it does still have very similar composition to Dior Homme, but sweeter, richer, heavier, a little bit more chocolatey, has a little bit more of a quote-unquote lipsticky smell, a little bit more of a dusty, powdery smell, but it ultimately makes it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more rich and creamy and silky, slightly gourmand even, and it just makes it perfect for an evening out in the fall and winter time, especially in a situation where you might be dressed up a little bit. You know, this is one of my all-time favorite designer fragrances ever. I love this stuff. I wear it all the time, even just at home, wear it in the evening, wear it to bed, wear it during the daytime. If I'm ever feeling like I want a nice sweet iris scent that I can just smell and enjoy throughout the day, this is always going to be one of the main ones I reach for. Okay, up next, we've got a couple to hold up, but it's Dior Homme Parfum. I'm going to quickly run through this a little bit. 75 ml and 100 ml. So if you have been subscribed about a month ago, in October, you could have gotten one of these for yourself for $85. Okay, let that sink in. If you are not subscribed, this is the type of stuff you're missing out on. You're missing out on $500 giveaways. It pays to be subscribed. $85, 75 ml, 2018 batch of Dior Homme Parfum. There weren't a ton of them, but I was able to get one. You guys were able to get one. It sold out pretty quick. That was on Joma Shop. They shipped out. They were the real deal. And this is like a once-in-a-lifetime thing, especially for $85. Holy crap. If you weren't subscribed and you knew about the channel at that point, I don't feel bad. Sorry, I hate to say it, but I mean, come on guys, stay tuned because this type of stuff doesn't come around often. And even more so, Dior Homme Parfum 100 ml. Now this is most likely what you're gonna get nowadays if you were to buy it. This one has also popped up here recently in a couple different small batches and it sold out quick, but I posted about it, you guys are able to get it. This DNA is all about the iris, but in addition with a couple of different notes of more prominence, being the leather accord in these is amped up more so than in intense in the original. Also, oud, a little bit is in here. A little bit of oud and a little bit of rose. That's going to scare a lot of people away, but I'm telling you guys, this is one of the most gorgeous designer fragrances I've ever smelled. This and the intense are just two designer fragrances that could pass as niche fragrances 10 times over, and they could charge way more for these, and I would still buy them, and a lot of other people would as well. If you ever have the chance to buy Dior Homme Parfum, do it. I've talked about this before, but you're almost always guaranteed to be able to sell it again later on if you don't like it and make your money back and then some, because this stuff is so hot, people want it so bad, and people will pay whatever it takes for them to get it. So if you have the chance to jump on it, jump on it. Best case scenario, you fall in love. Worst case, you don't like it and you make your money back and then some. One of the best designer fragrances on the market. It's also a beast mode fragrance, both versions there, very strong performers. All right, let's move a little bit quicker. Dior Homme Cologne. Now they've changed the bottle a little bit. This is the newer style kind of. This stuff here is super simplistic, very fresh. It's got like a lemon verbena, orange blossom accord, bergamot, and musk. It smells like iced cold lemonade on a warm summer day. Sweet, citrusy, musky, and fresh. Very uplifting, very relaxing. Smells great if you're wearing a crisp white t-shirt and a pair of shorts on an early summer day. Love it. Great scent. One of my favorite summer fragrances. Performance is not really a strong suit of this one, so buy yourself a big bottle like this and just spray it on heavily. You can throw this thing in the fridge or the freezer, and then it's kind of a nice refreshing experience when you spray it on when it's hot outside. You know, for the price, you know, a lot of people struggle with it because you don't get that good a performance out of it. There are other alternatives out there on the market that are more affordable and do a similar thing, but I got to put it in the video anyway, and it's still one of my favorites. Nice freshie from the line. All right, let's move on down the line. We're getting into the sports. Dior Homme Sport 2021. The newest version, if you were to buy it on discounters or Macy's or Dior.com, this is what you're going to get. This has lemon, it's got elemi, some other woods in here, some spices. This is going to be the most sophisticated sport fragrance that you've ever smelled. And I was just talking about this recently, but this is actually not your type of scent that you would wear to the gym or working out or any other sport activity. I don't really think it's suited well for that. So I think it's a great fragrance. I love it, but I do kind of feel like I don't know, it's not really fitting as to what maybe people would typically use this for. I see this as a very, very sophisticated everyday wear scent, going to work, going to school, just events where you want to be taken seriously and well dressed up. I wouldn't really want to be smelling this while I'm sweating or working out or doing anything sporty, because it's kind of strong and very woody and not all that refreshing. That being said, classy and sophisticated to the max, and one of the best sport versions they've released. And that's saying something, because there's some good ones we're going to talk about. And we might as well just go ahead and talk about, in my opinion, my least favorite. This is Dior Homme Sport 2017. So this is what we were rocking with for quite a while before they finally came out with a new one. And by we, I mean everyone but me. I don't like this. Even smelling it off the dry down here, this one just never worked for me. I don't know. It's very smooth, which I do respect, but it has this kind of weird texture to it that I don't really care for. I don't like how the notes work together, and again, it's not all that refreshing to me. That's not a big deal, but I just don't really vibe with this one personally. It is kind of ozonic. It's a little bit airy. It has a little bit of a watery feel, very citrusy and fresh, but just in a different way. And I don't know, the 2017 version never really worked well for me. And let's hit up Dior Homme Sport 2008. So this one I really like a lot because it had some of that iris accord in there. Very lemon heavy, fresh, musky, woody, and it really is a great one. Very refreshing. So this one does kind of do what I would expect a sport fragrance to do, and that's to be uplifting and refreshing and smell great in the warm weather. And that's what this one does. You're going to be very hard pressed to find a bottle of this these days without paying a lot of money. Personally, I don't think it's worth doing that, but to each their own. I just did want to cover it though anyway, because if you do have a chance to ever get the 2012 version, I highly recommend it. That is if you're not paying an arm and a leg for it. And 2008 Dior Homme Sport. This one always looked the coolest. The color of the juice itself is slightly like green tinted, which isn't probably showing up. But if you look up pictures of this one online, you'll see that it's kind of a greenish color. It's accented in the pictures for sure, but in real life you can get a little bit of it. And it also has a black and red theme going on there with the atomizer and the collar, which I think looks really sharp. Again, best looking bottle out of all of them, and it also smells amazing. I wish they could have brought this back and done something similar with the 2017. I think it would have been a hit. I really think they were onto something here with this kind of originator of the sport, but unfortunately they had other plans. And the last one makes me upset, but we are down to the end, and it is Dior Homme Eau. You might have thought I was going to forget about this, but I didn't. I love this stuff, and it's always gotten compared to Prada L'Homme. It has some coriander going on, iris, of course, pepper. I prefer this over Prada L'Homme. I always have, I always will. I can't talk about this anymore because it's discontinued. You really can't buy it anymore, which sucks because I love everything about Dior Homme Eau. I think it's great. You know, it's that fresh iris DNA, just refined to the max. It can't really get any more smooth and rich than this without starting to go into the sweet direction. And that's what I love about it. I just, man, this smells so good. I don't wear it that much anymore because I only have so much of it, but I might have to start wearing it a little bit more and just kind of bite the bullet that I'm going to burn through my bottles at some point. Might as well enjoy them. But I do wish that they were still making this, and I would feature it all the time, and I would talk about it more than Prada L'Homme. Not saying that Prada L'Homme is bad. It's a great scent, but I always have liked this one better. And if you ever have a chance to get this as well for a good price, and I'm talking nothing over $100, you know, $120 or whatever, then I would say get it. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me, my Dior Homme buying guide. A little bit more up to date here, and hopefully this helps you guys out if you're wanting to get into the line, but you've been overwhelmed. This will be kind of a little starting point for you. Links will be down below. Deals will be on the community tab. Don't miss out on stuff. Get subscribed, join the mailing list, and I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.